Okay, it's Friday the 15th of May. We're going into our May long weekend. Happy Victoria Day for all of you who are celebrating here in Canada. The big news today, of course, is that the S&P credit rating agency has switched their trend on the province of BC. They've affirmed a AAA credit rating for the province of BC, but they've switched the trend from neutral to negative. Now, in a previous video we posted about credit rating agencies, we talked about how the credit rating agencies operate, their short-term, long-term credit ratings, as well as how they have these trends of positive, neutral, and negative. And this is now a sign that the S&P is providing, saying we may be heading towards a downgrade for the province of BC. Now, they noted in their report that entering into 2021, which first of all I think is a bit of a typo because we haven't gotten into 2021 yet, but entering into 2021 in a position of economic and fiscal strength, Standard & Poor's projects that despite that strength of the balance sheet of the province of BC, the COVID-19 pandemic is going to have a big impact on GDP, involving revenue growth that goes into negative territory. So basically, what does that mean? It means that the financial sort of well-being of our province here in BC, like other provinces, is going to be negative. I think that kind of goes without saying, and that's why we've been talking so much about making sure you continue to monitor the credit rating agencies to get a sense of what's really going on an economic level. You see, the credit rating agencies, they don't care about the equity markets. That's not something they pay attention to. So just like the central banks, the credit rating agencies look for and analyze credit. You know, the access to credit, their ability, an institution, whether it's a corporation or a sovereign government like a province or the federal government, their ability to basically make ends meet, to have a strong balance sheet. Now, this decreasing revenue in GDP is going to result in deficits and rising debt burdens, is what they also wrote in their report. The negative outlook reflects our view that the BC's fiscal strength will likely remain superior to that of other Canadian provinces, but could deteriorate at a level no longer consistent with a AAA rating within the next 12 to 24 months. That was straight from their report. Tax-supported debt is projected to increase to 150% of operating revenues by the end of fiscal 2021, which I think for BC is in end of March. And so maybe that's why they made reference to the year 2021. But overall, look, this report was positive in BC. They've maintained the AAA credit rating. Here's something to note that's interesting. I mentioned about the different credit rating agencies. The province of BC actually does have one of the four, does not have a AAA credit rating agency with them. And that's actually, funny enough, the Canadian one. So DBRS Morningstar, DBRS was a independent Canadian credit rating agency recently purchased by the American company called Morningstar. And they actually have a AA high credit rating for the province of BC. It's actually S&P, Moody's, and Fitch who all have a AAA credit rating. Now, again, on that previous post that we had about watching the credit rating agencies and what they're going to be announcing as far as downgrades or upgrades, I don't expect it to see many, if any at all, in the way of upgrades, as well as their trends. We've also seen the other provinces such as Alberta, Ontario, and Saskatchewan have had their credit ratings only affirmed in the latter half of last year. So we still are waiting to see what the S&P credit rating agency and others are going to do. So this is going to be a pretty hot topic going into the summer of 2020. Also within the very latest reports this week by S&P 500 came out two notable ones. One was about the province of PEI. PEI has gone from a positive to stable trend. So that's a downgrade in the trend. It's still stable, so that's obviously a good sign. And then finally, SNC-Lavalin, the notorious Quebec Corporation, had a outlook that is remaining negative. It's still a negative trend. And their credit rating today is BB+, which is considered to be junk status. So keep in mind that the separation between junk status and investment grade is the difference between BBB- and BB+, and they're down in the BB+ range. The last thing we want to leave you with is a little bit of a glimpse into what, at least from S&P's perspective, the credit ratings look like right now across the province, going from west to east. So starting off with BC, we mentioned that rating is still at AAA. Right next to, across from us is our neighbors in Alberta. You know, unfortunately, with the challenges they've been seeing there, their last rated it was in September, and they're currently at a single A plus. So any downgrade from there, the next stop would be A and then A minus. Saskatchewan next over has a slightly better rating. Theirs was last affirmed in August of 2019, and they have a double A flat rating. Next over is the province of Manitoba. Strangely, their outlook was revised from neutral to positive. So good for Manitoba. Their current credit rating is A+. You've got Ontario. Their credit rating was last updated in October. They're currently listed as an A+. Quebec is last rated in October. Theirs is a double A minus. So actually Quebec is a little bit better than Ontario by one single notch. And then we get into our Atlantic provinces. So Newfoundland is currently rated as a single A flat, and they were last affirmed in August. Nova Scotia has a double A minus credit rating, which is quite impressive for such a small province. That was last affirmed in September. New Brunswick has a A plus credit rating, and as we mentioned earlier, PEI is gone from positive to stable with the retaining their single A credit rating as well. As these start to unfold, we'll continue to come back to you. We're also going to be launching our insolvency tracker. There's been a lot of talk this last few weeks about the number of retail brands, very well-known retail brands. The news today that JCPenney is likely going to file for bankruptcy protection as well. So that'll be coming to you soon as well. Have a nice weekend. We'll catch up with you soon.